let's start now the webinar with the agenda overview. So first we'll have an introduction of the RUSTIK project from the project coordinator, Simone Sterly. Then we'll set the scene with two presentations from Petri Kaila from the University of Eastern Finland and Marta Carbones from Multi-Criteria Planning, followed by a short Q&A. And then we'll dig more into the ground perspective and how all this RUSTIK methodology, RUSTIK operationalization on data are implemented on the ground. So we will be joined by Andreu Blanc and Marite Guevara to present the work they have been doing and they are still doing in one of RUSTIK Living Lab in Osana in Spain. And they focused on enhancing the quality of life in their pilot region. And then after a quick Q&A and a quick break, we'll continue with a panel discussion with three new speakers that will join us for the discussion. And then we'll see a demonstration session live from the RUSTIK information system. So we are already a bit tight with the timing, so I will give the floor to Simone Sterly. She is head of the Department International Perspective, Agricultural Policy and Rural Development at the Institute of Rural Development Research. And most importantly today, she is the project coordinator of RUSTIK. So Simone, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the floor and welcome to everybody who's joining today. I will just give you a very brief overview of the RUSTIK project, and I leave the floor happily to others to dig more into the details. But just to give you an overview of what we are talking about, here is a short introduction to the RUSTIK project. Yeah. So in a nutshell, RUSTIK is a project that was approved under the call asking for the topic of grasping rural diversity and strengthening evidence for tailored policies, enhancing contributions of rural communities to ecological, digital, and social transitions. And we have also the pleasure to have a partner project, Granular, and I know that a couple of people from Granular are also participating today, so that's a pleasure. Our project officer is Isabelle Deve, and she's also joining today, so happy to see you here. And we are a project consisting of 31 partners from 12 European countries, Serbia and UK as well. It's a 4-year project, started in September 22, and we will finish in August 26. Can you do the next slide, please? The overarching objective of the RUSTIK project is to enable rural communities, actors, and policymakers to design better strategies and initiatives and policies fostering sustainability transitions of rural areas. And we do this through advancing our understanding of different rural functionalities, characteristics, and future scenarios of rural areas, their potentials and challenges. And what is not in the overarching objective, but it's something that came from the call, is that we focus on 3 different transitions in rural areas. One is socio-economic aspects, then environment and climate, and the third one is digital transitions. So of course we are knowing that these are taking place all at the same time and in different stadiums. So this is what we are focusing. We are also covering we're trying to elaborate a better understanding of the functions of rural areas, focusing on 3 or using 3 categories: ecological functions, production functions, and consumption functions. And we're trying to underpin this with the findings from our project. If you go to the next slide, we have, you should click one. Okay, no, yeah. We have promised to develop 3 types of outputs in the project. One type or one cluster is around data and data infrastructure. So we are developing 14 data sets at the regional level and the RUSTIK information system, and there will be an introduction to this today. The second cluster of outputs is around methods and processes for policy and strategy design and assessment. So it focuses, or we will prepare an intervention design approaches, a standardized, or not a standardized, but a model for decentralized rule proofing and improved policy governance frameworks. And the third cluster of outputs relates to improved knowledge and capacities of different actors at local, regional, national, and EU level by providing information on novel data collection and analysis methods, and also disseminating this to the different stakeholder groups, and also by providing a better understanding of the diversity and dynamics of rural areas, focusing on the transitions I mentioned before and also the functions. So next slide, please. We have a very specific approach in the RUSTIK project. First of all, we have a very strong multi-actor or transdisciplinary approach, having 11 scientific partners, 14 pilot region partners, 2 European umbrella organizations, 2 knowledge-based SMEs, and 2 intermediate NGOs in the consortium, and a strong focus on co-design of results through a living lab approach, where we apply an iterative process in 3 phases. And this living lab approach integrates 2 strands, so the data strand on one side and the policy strand on the other side. And also in the living lab approach, the types of pilot regions we look at is quite diverse. We have 8 so-called macro regions, which are rather large, NUTS 3 or NUTS 2 level, with around 100,000 inhabitants, and 6 smaller regions with a variable number of LAU 2 or municipal administrative units with a smaller number of inhabitants. This is in a nutshell our approach. I think we don't need to go into more detail. And last, I just wanted to outline how our project contributes also to the objectives in the long-term vision for rural areas. And this has been done, first of all, by focusing on understanding rural diversity better and employing a living labs approach. Through this, we support the call for tailored approaches and community involvement in policy making, so focusing on place-based strategies. And the second part is we also support evidence-based policy making by integrating and analyzing diverse data, and so ensuring that policies are based on robust data. This is the project in short. If you have questions, of course, bring them forward, and maybe we find enough time to clarify